You found this right now. That is not coincidence. That is a warning, a signal, a doorway. Only a few ever reach this point. And the fact that you are hearing these words in this exact moment means time is collapsing for you. It means your life is standing at the edge of something irreversible. There is a pulse that has been following you. You felt it when strange patterns lined up too perfectly. You noticed it in the moments when reality bent just enough to make you stop breathing for a second. You brushed it off. But deep down, you knew this was not chance. This was selection. Your consciousness has been marked. It has been building strength every time you ignored fear, every time you pushed through doubt, every time you trusted the invisible over the obvious. That is why this message has found you. Not distraction, not entertainment, but activation. Ask yourself, why do these words feel charged? Why do they hit somewhere deeper than thought? Because they are not information. They are a key, a frequency upgrade, a reminder that you are no longer like everyone else trapped in limitation. You have been living in two worlds. The one ruled by scarcity, where miracles are rare, and the hidden one where intention shapes matter, where expectation becomes experience, where the impossible bends to your will. Most never cross. They dismiss the signs. They bury the truth. But you cannot ignore it anymore. You are in the transition zone between who you were and who you are becoming. It feels chaotic because your old identity is dissolving. Yet chaos is proof of transformation. Right now, your higher self is pressing you. The pressure you feel is not against you. It is for you. It is the signal that the window is open. And the window will not stay open forever. So listen carefully. This is the moment. Act before it closes, or be left behind. But let me ask you, how many times have you felt that strange pull? The sudden chill that made you pause. The perfect timing that felt too exact to be explained away. The conversation that arrived just when you needed it most. Was that coincidence? Or was it synchronicity? The hidden design revealing itself to you. Carl Jung called it synchronicity. The meaningful connection of events with no visible cause. Science has studied it. Psychology has recorded it. And yet only those who are ready ever notice. The rest dismiss it. The rest keep scrolling. But you stopped here. You recognized the signal. That recognition is not random. That is consciousness speaking to itself. Imagine this. In the United States, researchers documented people who described the same sensation you are feeling right now. They spoke of signs, of meetings too perfect, of doors opening at the exact instant they doubted the most. Later, those same people said those signals marked the turning point of their lives. They called it destiny, wearing the mask of coincidence. And here you are, on the edge of your own turning point. Can you feel it? The intensity building in your chest, the sense that this moment carries weight, that it demands attention, that ignoring it would be a mistake you cannot afford. That is not fear. That is awakening. That is awareness pulling you out of sleep. Look closer. Every challenge you faced was preparation. Every setback was refinement. Every victory was confirmation. You have been tuned to this frequency for years. You have been rehearsing for this very moment without even knowing. And now the transmission has begun. You are not like everyone else. That is why this found you. That is why you feel the words vibrating inside your skin. You are standing in the rare space where recognition becomes transformation. The threshold, the crossing point. But thresholds do not stay open forever. A door half open will eventually close. The question is, will you step through before it does? Or will you let the moment slip away? You know the answer. You feel the urgency. This is not just content. This is not just another video in an endless stream. This is a signal placed in your path, a marker. A code dot, so pause. Take a breath. Let the weight of this moment sink in. Ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Why are you still doubting? Why are you still pretending this is chance? The truth is here, right now, and it is speaking directly to you. If you feel it, if you recognize that this moment was meant for you, then claim it, mark it, write it, say it, type it, leave your confirmation. Declare it in the comments with the words, I am here, because you are, and that declaration is more than a comment. It is an act of recognition. It is an act of creation. Do not hesitate. Do not delay. This is your moment to answer the call, to confirm that you are awake, to prove that you can hear the signal that others cannot. So tell me, what is it that allows consciousness to guide you here? What force brings you to this threshold at this exact second? That is the question. And in the next moment, you will discover the answer. Your consciousness is the silent architect of reality. Let that sink in. What does it mean for you? What does it mean for the life you are living right now? Have you ever asked yourself if the reality you see each day is truly your choice, or if it has been chosen for you by habit, by fear, by the voices of others? Look closer. Every wall you face, every door you thought was closed, every limit that seemed unbreakable. What if they were not fixed at all? What if they were blueprints drawn by your own awareness? Your consciousness is not passive. It does not just watch. It creates. It shapes. It bends the raw material of possibility into the patterns you call your life. You feel it, don't you? That tug inside that says there is more than this. That whisper that insists the boundaries around you are thinner than they appear. That voice is your own awareness, calling itself into power. Science has touched this mystery. Physics has hinted at it. The observer effect tells us something extraordinary. At the quantum level, particles do not exist in one state until they are observed. They float in probabilities, in multiple outcomes, until attention collapses them into one. Think about that. Until you look, the result is not fixed. Until consciousness engages, the form is not chosen. Observation changes outcome. Awareness sculpts reality. If that is true at the smallest scale, why not at the scale of your life? Ask yourself, how many times have you expected the worst, only to watch it unfold exactly as feared? How many times have you believed in a possibility, only to see doors swing open that logic could not explain? That is not coincidence. That is creation. There is a story that proves this truth. In America, a businessman faced ruin. His company on the brink of collapse. Debt rising. Partners leaving. The numbers made survival impossible. Yet he did not surrender to what was seen. He chose to change what he believed. He chose to focus on possibility, not on loss. Each day he rehearsed the outcome he wanted. Each day he pictured his company thriving. Within a year, investors arrived. Contracts flowed. The same company that stood at the edge of destruction became $1 million success. What changed? Not the market, not the competition. What changed first was his consciousness. His observation of his future shifted, and the world bent to match. This is not just his story. This is the principle that has been shaping your story all along. The unseen architect inside you has been drawing plans every time you thought, every time you feared, every time you hoped. So what are you building right now? Look at your thoughts. Look at your expectations. They are not harmless. They are not empty. They are bricks. They are beams. They are the frame of the world you wake up in tomorrow. And here is the question you cannot ignore. If your consciousness is building reality, then whose design are you living in today? Is it the one you chose, or the one that was chosen for you by doubt, by past failures, by the stories others told you about what is possible? Do you feel the urgency? This is not just theory. This is not just philosophy. This is activation. Because the moment you recognize that consciousness is the architect, you also recognize that you have always had the power to redraw the plan. Imagine standing in front of two blueprints. One filled with scarcity, struggle, limitation. The other filled with expansion, flow, creation. Which one will you energize with your attention? Which one will you collapse into reality with your focus? Most will not ask this. Most will live inside someone else's plan until the end. But you are not. Most, you are hearing this for a reason. Because you are ready to question. You are ready to build dot, and right now you stand at a threshold. If you continue to see yourself as powerless, you will live the plan of powerlessness. But if you see yourself as creator, as architect, then the foundations of your future shift. Instantly dot. So what are you choosing? What blueprint will your consciousness solidify tonight, tomorrow, in the weeks ahead? Remember the businessman. Remember the company on the edge of collapse that became abundance. That was not luck. That was design. That was observation changing reality. This is your moment to claim the same truth. To look at your life and say with certainty that what you see now is only temporary, only one possible version. And you hold. The pen that draws the next dot, feel the power of that. Feel the urgency. Do not dismiss this as words. This is a mirror held up to you, a reflection of what you already know deep inside. Your consciousness is the silent architect of reality. It always has been. It always will be. The question is, will you step into that role with awareness? Or will you let the blueprint write itself without your consent? If you believe that your consciousness is building even now, mark this moment. Confirm it. Let yourself declare it. Press like as your act of recognition, your signal that you know the truth. Because each act of recognition strengthens the design. Each act of focus brings the plan into form. The architect has always been you, and now you see it. Now you know it. The only question left is this: how can science itself prove what you already feel within? Neuroscience has shown that your thoughts can rewire your brain. Stop for a moment. Do you feel the weight of that statement? Do you realize what it means for you? If thoughts can reshape the very structure of your brain, then what has been shaping? Yours until now? Your fears? Your doubts? Or your vision of who you could become? This is not speculation. This is not wishful thinking. This is science. Hard evidence. And it is staring directly at you right now. Ask yourself, how many times have you wondered if change was even possible? How many times have you felt trapped inside patterns that seemed unbreakable? Behaviors that repeated like chains you could not escape? And yet, here you are, hearing this, ready to face the truth that those chains are not locked. They are circuits. And circuits can be rewired. Your brain is not static. It is not fixed in stone. It is alive, flexible, plastic, neuroplasticity. The ability of your brain to change its connections, to form new pathways, to break old ones. Every thought you think, every belief you repeat, every action you take, they carve grooves into the brain like rivers carving through rock. And when you change your thoughts, when you change your beliefs, you redirect the flow. You open new channels. You literally reshape the structure of your brain. But does that sound too extraordinary? Too much to believe? That is why the science matters. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, a leading researcher in neuroscience, studied patients suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder, people trapped in relentless cycles of thought, people who washed their hands dozens of times, who checked the lock again and again, who could not silence the intrusive voice. Traditional medicine said they were broken, but Schwartz discovered something different. He taught his patients to recognize the intrusive thought, to step back and relabel it, to tell themselves this is not me, This is just my brain misfiring. And then, instead of obeying the thought, he taught them to redirect, to shift their focus onto something meaningful. Over time, scans revealed something revolutionary. The brain itself changed. Circuits that had been locked in obsession weakened. New circuits of control, of awareness, grew stronger. The patients were not just coping. They were rewiring their brains. Think about the power of that. If a brain trapped in obsession could be reshaped, what does that mean for you? What patterns could you break? What possibilities could you unlock? This is not about disorder. This is about you. About the doubts you repeat. About the fears you rehearse. About the limits you replay every single day. Each repetition strengthens the circuit. Each belief becomes more solid until you mistake it for truth. But truth is not fixed. It is built. It is carved by the grooves of your own thoughts. And here is the secret. You can carve new ones. You can choose new thoughts. You can rehearse new beliefs. And as you do, your brain will follow. Your biology will follow. Your life will follow. So I ask you, what are you rehearsing today? What thoughts are you feeding? Are you strengthening the circuit of fear? Or are you building the circuit of courage? There was a woman in America. For years, she lived with crippling anxiety. Every morning she woke, with her chest tight, her mind racing. She believed this was who she was, broken, doomed to suffer. But then she discovered the power of thought training. She began a simple practice. Each time the fear arose, she paused. She told herself, this is not me. This is my brain firing old circuits. And then she redirected her focus onto a word of strength, an image of calm. Day after day, she repeated it. Was not instant, but over weeks and months, something shifted. The panic loosened, the anxiety softened, and eventually, she found herself walking freely through situations that once paralyzed her, not because the world had changed, but because her brain had, because her thoughts had redrawn the map of her mind. Do you see it now? The extraordinary power you hold? You are not trapped. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are plastic. You are adaptable. You are the sculptor of your own brain. This is why neuroscience matters. This is why belief is not just philosophy, but biology. So what does it mean for you, sitting here, listening? It means that every doubt you indulge, every fear you entertain, is wiring you deeper into limitation. And every empowering thought you repeat, every vision you focus on, is wiring you into expansion. The question is urgent. Which one are you choosing right now? Do not mistake this for theory. This is not abstract. This is you, in this moment, holding the tools of change. You might ask, can it really be that simple? Can thought alone create transformation? Yes, but only if you practice. Only if you repeat. Only if you take responsibility for what you allow your mind to dwell on. Because repetition is the sculptor's hand. And your brain is the clay. Feel the urgency. Because every day you repeat the old patterns, they deepen. And every day you practice the new, they strengthen. Time is not neutral. It is bending with you or against you. So listen carefully. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of old wiring. The science is clear. You can change. You can reshape. You can rewire. And here's your chance to claim it. If you have ever experienced a moment where belief shifted your reality, where a single new thought changed everything, then share it. Say it. Mark it. Type it in the comments. Because declaring your shift strengthens it. Recognition reinforces the circuit. If you have felt the truth of this, if you know that your brain can be reshaped, then this is your moment to confirm it. To take the science out of theory and into your life. Neuroscience has shown that your thoughts can rewire your brain. The evidence is there. The stories are real. The only question left is this: what is truly stopping you from changing right now? The thing that holds you back is not the world outside. It is the fear and the delay inside you. How many times have you stood on the edge of action and hesitated? How many times did you feel the spark of possibility, only to smother it with a whisper of later? Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes never, and never becomes regret. You know this feeling. They wait in your chest, the invisible wall between you and the life you want. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right moment. You tell yourself you need more time, but time does not wait. And every pause, every delay, tightens the chains you cannot see. Ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? Is it failure? Is it judgment? Or is it the terrifying truth that you are more powerful than you have dared to believe? Fear disguises itself as protection. It whispers, stay safe, do not risk, do not step out. But safety is a cage, and the bars are built by your own hesitation. Science shows us why fear grips you so tightly. Deep in your brain sits the amygdala, the alarm system of your mind. Its job is to keep you alive, to shout danger even when no danger is there. That is why your heart races before a speech. That is why your palms sweat before a leap. The amygdala does not know the difference between a predator and a new opportunity. To it, both feel like threat. But here is the truth. You can calm it. You can override it with a single breath. Deep breathing tells your brain you are safe. It quiets the alarm. It opens the path. Conscious awareness is the key. You do not need to destroy fear. You only need to step through it, because fear is not a wall. It is a curtain, thin, fragile, an illusion that vanishes when you walk forward. There is a story that proves it. A young student in America dreamed of starting a company, but he delayed. He doubted. He told himself he was not ready. Days turned into months. Then one night, standing in a small garage, he made the decision. He would begin with what he had. No waiting, no more delay. That tiny step, taken in fear, became the seed of success. Within years, his garage project grew into a business worth millions. What changed? Not the resources, not the world. What changed was his choice to act in the face of fear. And now it is your turn. What are you putting off right now? What dream have you buried under excuses? What action have you postponed so long that it haunts you in silence? Look closely. It is not the world that blocks you. It is the illusion inside, the phantom of delay, the shadow of fear. And shadows vanish the moment you face them. So I ask you, what would happen if you chose differently right now? If you decided not to wait, if you acted today instead of someday, what doors would open? What life would unfold? You can feel it. The pressure in your chest, the urgency building. That is not fear holding you down. That is potential pushing to break free. Remember the amygdala. Remember that it screams danger when none is there. And remember that with a single conscious breath, you can silence it. You can step forward. You can reclaim control. So breathe. Breathe deeply. Let your body know you are safe. Then move. Because each step you take dissolves the illusion. Each action you take rewrites the story. And this is the moment. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. If you are ready to cut the chains of hesitation, declare it. Say it out loud. Type it. Comment, I choose action. Let the world see your decision. Because the act of declaring strengthens the choice. And the choice is what sets you free. The world is not your obstacle. Fear is. Delay is. And both are illusions. So tell me, when you finally choose action, when you dare to step forward into what calls you, what will open before you? The moment you take action, you activate a hidden power that has never been touched before. Do you feel that? The pulse under your skin, the pressure building inside your chest, the sense that one single move could change everything. You are standing at a crossroads. On one side is the life you already know. On the other side is the life you have always imagined. And the only difference between them is action. What happens when you act? Something extraordinary. The invisible becomes visible. The impossible bends. The doors you thought were locked swing open. But how? How can a single step hold so much weight? Because action is the bridge. Action is the trigger. Action turns belief into reality. Science confirms it. The placebo effect, one of the most studied phenomena in medicine, reveals the truth. When patients believe in a treatment and act as if it is working, their biology responds. Their bodies heal. Their cells shift. Their chemistry changes. Not because of the pill, not because of the procedure, but because belief, combined with action, rewrites the body itself. Think about that. Belief alone plants the seed, but action waters it. Together, they transform. There was a man in America. He was diagnosed with a serious illness. Doctors gave him little hope, but he refused to surrender. He believed in the possibility of recovery. He trusted the process given to him, even when others doubted. Each day, he acted on that belief. He followed through with determination, with faith, with relentless choice. Slowly, against all odds, his body responded. His illness receded. His life returned. What changed him? Not just medicine, not just belief, but belief fused with action. So what about you? What belief are you holding right now that has not yet been given action? What dream is waiting, gathering dust, because you have not taken the step that will bring it to life? You already know the truth. Thinking is not enough. Dreaming is not enough. Planning is not enough. The moment you act, you ignite something ancient inside you. You awaken circuits that have been asleep. You stir forces that cannot move until you move first. Look around you. Everything you see began as an idea. But the reason it exists is because someone acted. Someone dared to move while others hesitated. Action is the difference between vision and reality. So what is holding you back? Fear? Doubt? The illusion that you're not ready? You have been told to wait for the perfect time. But the perfect time is a myth. The only perfect moment is now. The only doorway is the one in front of you. And it will not remain open forever. Do you understand what this means? Each time you hesitate, the path fades. Each time you delay, the fire weakens. But each time you act, no matter how small, the universe responds. It rearranges itself around your movement. This is why action is destiny. Not because action guarantees success, but because action guarantees change. Action shifts you from waiting to creating, from victim to architect, from dreamer to doer. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the two paths in front of you. One leads to the same days, the same struggles, the same regrets. The other leads to expansion, growth, and the unknown future you crave. Which will you choose? Which will you step into? This choice is not tomorrow's. It is not next year's. It is yours right now. Remember the patient who healed. Remember the countless stories of those who dared to act while others froze. They were not stronger. They were not luckier. They were not different from you. The only difference was action. So here's the question. What could happen if you decided today to move? What could open if you stopped waiting and started stepping? What hidden power would you awaken if you trusted enough to act? Feel the urgency. Let it burn in your chest. Because this is not entertainment. This is not background noise. This is your call. If you are ready to declare it, mark this moment. Confirm it with the universe itself. Press like. Comment, I am ready to act. Not as a symbol, but as a choice. As an anchor in time. Because the moment you take action, you activate a hidden power that has never been touched before. And the only question that remains is this: what action will truly lead you to your destiny? That is when you align with your higher self, the most powerful version of who you are. Have you ever felt it? That strange moment when a voice inside you spoke with clarity, when fear dissolved for just an instant and you knew exactly what to do. It was not hesitation. It was not doubt. It was certainty. That was not chance. That was your higher self. Ask yourself, how many times have you ignored that voice? How many times have you felt the guidance but chose the comfort of fear instead? And where has that left you? Still waiting, still wondering, still standing at the edge of the life you were meant to live. The higher self is not bound by fear. It is not limited by the stories you repeat. It is the version of you that already knows, already sees, already lives the future you crave. Imagine it. The you who no longer questions, the you who acts with strength, the you who trusts without hesitation. That version of you is not a dream. It is real. It is waiting. And it is calling you right now. Science has touched this mystery too. Psychology speaks of the self-concept. The way you define yourself becomes the limit of what you can achieve. But visualization, the practice of seeing yourself as more, rewrites that concept. When you picture yourself succeeding, your brain fires as if you are already there. The circuits align, the identity strengthens, and step by step, you grow into the image you hold. Think about it. Athletes use it. Leaders use it. Those who rise beyond average know this secret. They do not wait to feel like champions. They see themselves as champions first. And then the body, the choices, the world follow. There was an athlete in America. For years he trained, but something held him back. He had the strength. He had the skill, but not the breakthrough. Until he began to visualize himself as a champion. Each night he saw the race. He felt the victory. He imagined the medal around his neck. When the day came, his body followed the script his mind had already rehearsed. He became what he had seen. He rose to the top, and he said later that it was not only his muscles that won. It was his higher self, guiding him long before the finish line. Do you see it now? You are not separate from that power. You are not excluded. Your higher self is already alive within you. The question is not if it exists. The question is, are you listening? Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as you wish to be. Stronger, freer, bolder. That is not fantasy. That is communication. That is your higher self showing you what is already possible. But here is the urgency. Every time you ignore it, the voice grows dimmer. Every time you choose fear, hesitation, delay, you turn from the path. Yet every time you listen, every time you follow, the voice grows louder. The connection strengthens. What would change if you listened today? What decision would you make differently? What step would you take if you trusted the version of you that already knows the way? You are not here by accident. You are here because the alignment is happening. You feel it, the pull toward something more, the whisper that refuses to leave you alone. And let me ask you, why do you think you feel restless? Why do you think you sense there is more? Because your higher self is calling you forward. Because the future you already exists, and it is urging you to step into it. This is not theory. This is practice. Each time you breathe deeply and imagine the strongest version of yourself, you are training your brain to believe. Each time you act as if you are already that person, you are closing the gap. And sooner than you think, you will not be acting anymore. You will be living it. So what is stopping you? Fear? Doubt? The small voice that says you are not enough, that is not truth. That is noise. The truth is the stronger voice, the one that speaks calm into chaos, the one that whispers you can when everything else screams you cannot. That is the voice you must choose. So I ask you directly, have you ever heard it? That inner guidance that feels different from thought, that calm certainty it feels like. It comes from beyond you, yet it is still you. That is your higher self. And if you have felt it, even once, you know it is real. Do not dismiss it. Do not bury it. Share it. Mark this moment. If you have ever heard the voice of your higher self, declare it now. Write it. Say it. Comment that you have heard it. Because in declaring, you strengthen the bond. In recognition, you expand the connection. Remember this, the higher self is not far away. It is not separate. It is you without the chains. You without the fear. You without the hesitation. It is the strongest version of you waiting to be lived. That is when you align with your higher self, the most powerful version of who you are. And the question that remains is this: how can you connect even deeper with it? By stepping into the natural trance of storytelling and visualization. Have you ever noticed how a story can pull you in so deeply that you forget where you are? How a simple image in your mind can make your heart race, your skin tingle, your breath quicken. That is not imagination playing tricks. That is your brain responding as if it were real. Ask yourself, what would happen if you could use that same power to shape your future? What would change if you told yourself a story so vivid, so powerful, that your mind accepted it as truth before it even happened? This is the hidden key. Storytelling and visualization are not entertainment. They are tools. They are codes that bypass resistance, that sink beneath the surface of thought and reach the part of you that decides who you are. Your brain does not. Know the difference between vividly imagined experience and lived reality. Mirror neurons fire as though you were actually moving, running, winning, speaking, creating. The circuits form. The pathways strengthen. Visualization is not pretending. It is rehearsal. It is training. It is activation. Picture it. You on a great journey. A path rising before you. The wind pressing against your face. Every obstacle appearing, and you stepping through it with strength you did not know you had. Do you feel it? The way your body responds? That is your nervous system aligning with possibility. Science confirms it. Athletes across the world practice not only with their bodies, but with their minds. Studies show that when they rehearse through visualization, their performance improves almost as much as physical practice. The brain records the imagined run, the imagined shot, the imagined lift, and prepares the body as if it had already been done. There was an Olympic athlete in America. He trained like all champions do, but he added one secret. Each night before sleep, he closed his eyes and played the race in his mind. He saw the track. He felt the muscles burn. He heard the roar of the crowd. And in his mind, he crossed them. Finish line first, again and again. When the day of the competition came, his body only followed the script. He won gold. Later, he said the victory was not just on the track. It had already been written in his mind. So what about you? What story are you telling yourself each night? Each morning? Do you rehearse defeat? Do you picture failure? Or do you see yourself stepping into the version of life you have always wanted? Because you are telling a story either way. Silence is still a story. Fear is still a story. But you can choose a different one. You can create the script. You can feed your mind with images of strength, of freedom, of success until your brain accepts them as the only truth. And here is the urgency. If you do not choose the story, the old story will run on repeat, the one written by doubt, the one rehearsed by hesitation, the one you never wanted, but kept playing anyway. Do you feel the pull? That voice inside that says you can rewrite it? That you can choose differently? That is not fantasy. That is your higher self reminding you that imagination is the first form of creation. So let us make it real, right now. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Picture the life you want. See it in detail. Feel it in your body. Taste the air. Hear the sounds. And when you return, mark it here. Share what you saw. Declare it in the comments. Because when you declare, you anchor it. You make the story real. Your mind is listening. Your neurons are firing. Your future is forming. But I must ask you, if you can see it so clearly, if you can feel it so deeply, then what is still holding you back? What invisible chain stops you from stepping fully into the future you just saw? Remember this. By stepping into the natural trance of storytelling and visualization, you awaken the hidden power to reshape your reality. And once you have seen your future, the only question that matters is this. What is keeping you from living it now? There is only one thing. The limiting belief you are carrying. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself before you even began? How many times have you heard that whisper inside saying you cannot, you should not, you will fail? Where did that voice come from? Was it truly yours? Or was it given to you by others, repeated so often that you believed it was the truth? Ask yourself, who told you that you were not enough? Who told you that dreams were too big, too unrealistic, too impossible? Was it society? Was it family? Was it the people who gave up on themselves and wanted you to do the same? The truth is, those words were never yours. Those limits were never yours. They are illusions, invisible walls built out of repetition, belief systems passed down like chains, binding you to a reality that does not belong to you. But here is the secret. Beliefs can be broken. Beliefs can be rewritten. They are not stone. They are stories. And stories can change. Science has already proven it. Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most powerful tools in modern psychology, shows us how negative beliefs can be restructured. A person with a belief that says I am worthless learns to challenge it. To ask, is this thought true? Where is the evidence? Slowly, step by step, the brain rewires. The thought loses its grip. A new belief takes root. And with it, a new life begins. This is not theory. It is practice. There was a woman in America. For years she was dismissed, overlooked, told she would never matter. Teachers said she was average. Friends said she would never stand out. Even her own family doubted her. The belief settled deep inside. I am small. I am invisible. But something inside her refused to die. She began to question the voice. She began to ask, what if it is not true? She started practicing new thoughts. I have something to give. My voice matters. Day after day, she spoke it, even when she did not believe it yet. She stood in front of mirrors. She repeated it in the silence of her room. She rewrote the story. And slowly, the world shifted. The more she believed, the more she acted. The more she acted, the more results came. Today, she stands on stages across America, speaking to thousands. The woman who was once told she was nothing has become a voice of inspiration for countless. Others. What changed? Not her worth. That was always there. What changed was her belief. So I ask you, what belief are you carrying right now that is holding you hostage? Is it the belief that you are not smart enough? Not strong enough? Not deserving? That belief is not fact. It is a cage. And the door of the cage has always been open. You feel the urgency, don't you? That pressure inside is not weakness. It is your true self pushing against the walls of limitation. It is your higher self demanding to be free. What happens when you break the belief? Everything. The moment you challenge it, the illusion cracks. The moment you declare a new truth, the old one loses power. You step through the cage and realize it was never locked. But here is the danger. If you do not challenge it, the belief will keep repeating, day after day, year after year, until your life becomes nothing more than the echo of someone else's story. God, do not let that happen. Not now, not when you know the truth. So pause. Look inside. Name the belief that has been limiting you. Feel the weight of it. Then ask yourself, is it true? Can you prove it? Or has it only ever been an illusion, passed down like a shadow? This is your moment to break it, to say enough, to declare a new story. If you are ready, mark this moment. Write it, say it. Comment, I break the limit, not as a phrase, but as a declaration, as an act of power. Because each declaration chips away at the old walls until they collapse entirely. Remember this. There is only one thing holding you back. Not the world, not the people around you, not your past. Only the belief you have chosen to carry. And when you release it, when you finally shatter it, something inside you will rise. Something unstoppable. Something true. So let me ask you now. When you break the belief, when the chains fall and the illusion dissolves, what will awaken in you? It is your inner power, the strongest weapon you have ever owned. Do you feel it? The vibration in your chest, the way your heartbeat seems to pound louder when truth touches you, the way your hand clenches when you imagine taking control of your life. That is not random. That is not weakness. That is strength waking up. Ask yourself, why have you always looked outside for answers? Why have you searched for guidance in others, in systems, in signs, when the fire has always been inside you? The answers you seek are not out there. They are within, waiting, pulsing, demanding to be awakened. You have felt it before. In the moments where you rose against the odds. In the times you surprised even yourself with courage. That was not luck. That was your inner power revealing itself, reminding you that you are more than fear, more than doubt, more than the story that tries to bind you. Science has begun to confirm this truth. The HeartMath Institute has shown that your heart is more than a pump. It has its own intelligence. Its rhythm synchronizes with your emotions, your focus, your very state of being. When your heartbeat enters coherence, when rhythm aligns, your mind clears, your stress dissolves, and your body steps into a state of power. The heart and brain connect. Energy flows, and your whole being rises. So imagine, if a shift in your heart's rhythm can change your emotions, what can happen when you fully connect with that force? What could you create? Who could you become? There was a soldier in America. He carried the scars of war. His body survived, but his mind was trapped. Post-traumatic stress haunted his nights. Fear and flashbacks ruled his days. He believed he was broken, until he discovered a simple practice. Breathing deeply, placing attention on his heart, meditating on gratitude. Slowly, he felt something shift. His heartbeat steadied, his body calmed, his emotions softened. The more he practiced, the more the nightmares lost their grip. And step by step, he reclaimed his life. Not because the past changed, but because he reconnected with the strength inside. His inner power became his healing. This is proof. You are not weak. You are not powerless. Even in your darkest moments, the weapon has always been in your hands. The weapon is your inner power. But here is the urgency. If you do not claim it, if you do not use it, the world will keep telling you that you are small, that you are dependent, that you are fragile. Do not believe that lie. You have already felt the truth. Think about it. How many times have you almost given up, only to find something deep inside push you one more step forward? That was your inner strength. How many times have you been told no, only to hear a quiet yes echo inside you? That was your inner voice. How many times have you stood in silence, feeling a heat in your chest, a knowing that you are capable of more? That was your inner weapon waiting to be drawn. So what is stopping you now? Why are you still pretending to be powerless when your body is literally vibrating with potential? Take a moment. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm. That is the drumbeat of your power. That is the signal that you are alive, that you carry everything you need inside you. Breathe into it. Sync with it. Let it remind you that you are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the creator of circumstance. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you trusted this strength every single day? If instead of doubting, you leaned into the fire? If instead of shrinking, you expanded? This is not about waiting for permission. This is not about hoping for the right time. This is about claiming what has always been yours. So mark this moment. Declare it. If you have ever felt that hidden strength flicker inside you, then confirm it now. Leave your energy here. Write it. Share it. Speak it. Let the world see. You say it. I am power. I am strength. I am alive. Because when you declare it, you amplify it. When you share it, you strengthen it. And when you live it, nothing can stop you. Remember the soldier who rose from despair. Remember the countless times your own heart carried you further, and your mind thought possible. That was never weakness. That was proof. Proof that your inner power is the strongest weapon you will ever own. So I will leave you with this. When you finally give yourself permission to wield it, when you finally trust the strength inside your chest, what will you create? What future will you build? What new life will you awaken? It is your inner power, the strongest weapon you have ever owned. And the question that matters now is simple. When you empower yourself, what will rise from within you? You will begin to create a new reality where you are the one in control. Have you ever felt the pull? That sense that your life was meant to be more than routine, more than survival, more than simply reacting to what happens around you? That is not a dream. That is a signal, a reminder that you were never meant to be a passenger. You were always meant to be the creator. Ask yourself, who has been writing the script of your life until now? Was it you? Or was it the voices of fear, the doubts of others, the patterns handed down to you? And what if you could take the pen back? What if today you began to write a new story? The truth is this. The outside world is only a reflection of the inside world. What you see is not just circumstance. It is projection. It is your inner beliefs, your emotions, your expectations turned into form. Change the inside, and the outside cannot help but shift. Science is finally catching up with this truth. Epigenetics has revealed something extraordinary. Your genes are not destiny. They do not fix your future. They respond. They adapt. They switch on or off, depending on your thoughts, your environment, your choices. Stress can trigger disease, but peace, gratitude, and positive belief can strengthen healing. Your biology listens to your inner world. Do you understand the power of that? You are not bound by the past. You are not locked by genetics. You are shaping yourself with every thought, every decision, every belief. There was a man in America. He faced a diagnosis that many considered a death sentence. Cancer. Doctors told him the odds were slim, but he refused to surrender. He changed his life completely. He shifted his diet. He changed his environment. But most of all, he changed his mind. Each day he visualized health. Each day he repeated to himself that his body was healing. Over time, the disease weakened. Tests began to surprise the doctors. And eventually, he walked free of the illness that once threatened his life. His biology had followed his belief. His genes had responded to his inner choice. This is not a Miracle for the few. This is the principle for all. The world reflects your inner world. And when you step into the role of creator, you take command of that reflection dot. So what about you? What reality are you creating right now without even knowing it? Are you shaping a world of limitation because that is what you hold inside? Or are you building a reality of expansion because you dare to believe it first within? You are standing at a threshold. On one side, a life on autopilot. A life where you react, where you wait, where you surrender control. On the other side, life where you claim authorship. A life where you write each page with intention. Which will you choose? You feel it, don't you? That pressure in your chest, that heat in your body, that is not fear. That is the energy of creation waiting for you to give it direction, Dot. So take it, own it, because the world will not shift until you do. The script will not rewrite itself. You must write it. This is why it matters now. Because if you delay, if you wait for tomorrow, the old story will keep repeating. The same patterns, the same outcomes, the same regrets. But the moment you step into your power as creator, everything begins to bend. Dot. Think of the man who overcame illness. Think of the countless stories where people chose belief and action, and reality responded. This is not myth. This is not fantasy. This is your invitation, Dot. So let me ask you, what story do you want to live? What reality do you want to wake up in tomorrow? And what belief, what choice, what action will you plant today to make it real? You cannot ignore it anymore. The truth is clear. You are the creator. You always have been. And the reflection of your life is waiting for you to recognize it. Dot. Mark this moment. Declare it. Do not let it pass silently. If you are ready to step into the role you are always meant to play, then confirm it here. Write it. Share it. Comment, I am the creator. Not as a phrase, but as a choice. As a signal to the universe that you are taking the pen back. Because the moment you declare it, you strengthen it. And the moment you live it, the world cannot resist, but follow. Remember this. You will begin to create a new reality where you are the one in control. And the only question that matters now is this. What is the final step you must take to fully manifest your destiny? The final step is to act right now. Dot. What are you waiting for? Another sign? Another reason? Another tomorrow that never arrives? You already know the truth. Waiting is the greatest illusion. Delay is the silent thief. Every second you hesitate, the old story grows stronger. Every second you act, the new story begins. You are standing at the doorway of destiny. Can you feel it? The pressure in your chest, the energy in your body, the whisper in your mind that says this is it. That is not random. That is not coincidence. That is the signal, the invitation. The final call. Action is not just movement. It is creation. It is the bridge between thought and reality, between dream and life, between who you were and who you are becoming. Science has shown something powerful. Habits are decided in the first 20 seconds of choice. That is the moment where possibility becomes locked into action. If you move in those seconds, the action takes root. If you hesitate, the window closes. That is why the moment is now, not later, not someday. Now. Think about the young man in America who stood at the edge of his future. He had the option to wait. He had the temptation to doubt. But instead, he acted immediately. He sent the email. He made the call. He took the leap. That single decision altered everything. It opened doors he never thought possible. It led to opportunities, connections, and a career he once believed was out of reach. His life did not change because he wished. It changed because he acted. So ask yourself honestly, what will your life look like if you take the step today? What will unfold if you refuse to let hesitation steal this moment? You have heard this message not by chance, but because it is time. You are ready. That is why you are here. That is why these words resonate deeper than thought. They are a mirror, reflecting back the decision you have always known you must make. But urgency matters. If you turn away now, if you close this moment and return to routine, the old pattern will grip you again. The habit of waiting will win. And weeks, months, even years from now, you may look back and realize this was the doorway you ignored. Do not let that happen. This is the end of the message, but it is the beginning of your journey. And how you respond in these next seconds will decide everything. If you are ready, declare it, not silently. Not only in your mind, declare it where the world can see. Mark this moment. Confirm the choice. Press like right now. Share this message with someone who needs it. Leave a comment below that says I act now. Let your words anchor the decision. Let your actions send the signal. When you comment, you strengthen the belief. When you share, you spread the fire. When you subscribe, you commit to the path. These are not empty actions. They are rituals of choice. They are proof that you are no longer waiting. Remember the story of the young man who acted immediately. Remember the truth of science that says 20 seconds decides. Remember the times in your own life where one decision changed everything. This is the same moment, the same threshold, the same chance. Do not underestimate it. Do not dismiss it. Action is the seed of destiny. Without it, dreams rot. With it, futures bloom. So breathe deeply. Feel the energy in your chest. That is your power building. That is your readiness rising. And now, step, press like, comment I act now. Share this message so others can join. Subscribe to continue the journey. These steps may seem small, but they are signals. They are anchors. They are proof of your choice to act. And when you act here, in this moment, you train yourself to act. In every moment that follows, you wire your brain for immediacy. You train your body for momentum. You align your spirit with creation. This is why it matters so much. Because you are not only choosing to interact with a message, you are choosing to rewrite your life. Look back for a second. How many times did you wait, only to regret it later? How many times did opportunity knock, and you hesitated until it was gone? You know that feeling, that heavy ache of what could have been. That is why this moment feels different. Because you will not let it pass again. And when you act, you set a chain reaction in motion. Small actions lead to larger ones. One step leads to the next. One choice shifts the entire trajectory. This is how destinies are rewritten. Not with giant leaps, but with immediate, undeniable action in the present moment. So ask yourself again, what are you waiting for? The moment is already here. The doorway is already open. The future is already calling. If you are ready, prove it. Not to me, not to anyone else. Prove it to yourself. Prove it to the universe. Prove it to the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. Press like, comment I act now. Share this message so others can rise with you. Subscribe to stay connected to the path of action. Each of these is a choice. Each of these is a declaration. And each of these locks in the reality you are stepping into. The final step is to act right now. The moment is open. The doorway is here. The question is simple. Will you step through? Because when you act, you create. When you create, you transform. And when you transform, nothing will ever be the same again. The final step is to act right now. And the time is yours.